Good morning, it's Craig here, 13th of February, and I've just finished Act 2, 4.2. Act 4.2, as part of Phase 4 planning. Numbers sometimes get me. It all went really well. It was a really good session in that I reflected on some things that I knew I needed to come back to after Phase 2. I initially had a different idea of particular resources that the characters would have with them, but then I realised that didn't sync up with this sort of Mobius strip of history that I was trying to wrap around the narrative of the story. So I knew I had to come back to it, and I had made some notes as part of Phase 2 planning that basically said rethink this and get a good sense of what's happening. So I did this morning. I worked out an answer to it that I really like. It just fits in with my aesthetic. So that was really cool. So I did that, and I just built a few other parts up that needed it too, and otherwise just enjoyed the what had been written there. Enjoyed that part of the plot. It's one of those things, again, I look forward to reading, I look forward to writing. There's a lot of good opportunity for particular descriptions, particular dialogues, particular interactions that I think are going to be really fun. So yeah, it was good. And that's about it. Act 4.3 tomorrow morning. I'm each, because at this stage I know the general story, in terms of the flow of the novel, but at this stage, I think Act 4.3, I don't actually know what takes place in Act 4.3, so it's always a revelation to open up the laptop and look into it, look into the file and think, oh, okay, that was 4.3, that's the idea, and yeah, it's just a nice thing to do. It actually just made me think that I haven't gone back through. Now, what was this? This as part of Phase 3 planning. I went through each act and sort of asked questions and summarised and wrote things. I haven't even been back to that file since I've started on Phase 4 planning. Maybe I should, because it was the document that I wrote to make sure that there were no plot holes throughout the story. And what I'm doing now is just going back to Phase 2 and not actually reflecting upon that Phase 3 document. I should be doing that. I don't think there's anything major, but it did make me think, and why it's triggered my thought is I thought I wrote ideas about this, about the thing that I added this morning with the different resources that they would have. I thought I had written something about that, other than just the notes in Phase 2. Stay with me on camera while I crack this open and we solve it at the same time. You might see my reaction to thinking, this is I've missed a lot of content here that I need to consider. Let's see. So what was it? It's Phase 3. Okay, Phase 3, and I've got a plot trajectory file. Wow, I do have a lot of notes here. This will be really helpful, particularly for when I'm writing and I'm sort of spending the weekend mornings like going through. There's a lot of really good detail here. I didn't realise I put in so much detail in this part of Phase 3. So it's really got a lot of questions. It's got things that I have remembered and I have added in to this Phase 4 planning. I've basically just got things like, I need to give some thought to this still, so I don't necessarily have all the answers here, but I've got really, really good questions. It's really, I mean, there's nothing here that's a big revelation that I've missed. It's stuff that I've internalized as I've been writing now this phase 4 planning. But now I know where the ideas came from. They came from here, not just imagined, based on phase 2. It came from this phase 3 plot trajectory planning. It's cool. Lesson for tomorrow is to go through Act 4.3. I've written like 2 really big paragraphs here of really interesting notes, and now I know what's coming up in Act 4.3, where I couldn't remember previously. This is good. Very important. I feel really, really like it's like there's so much work that I've written here. I mean, was it like 7,000 words of planning, and I had forgotten about it until now. It's going to be good to go back, like I said, those weekend mornings, particularly when I'm starting to write the prose. There's nothing here that is not the same as what I'm doing now for phase 4, because I have internalized this. I keep looking for things I haven't internalized and have missed, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be my understanding of the novel comes from this phase 3 planning. Even the Mobius strip phrase that I just used earlier is here, because that's where I got that consideration. Interesting. Well, I'm glad I found it now and not at the end of chapter 6, because at least now I can reflect on this as I'm starting to go through, as I go through the rest of the acts. There's nothing I need to change from what I can see prior, but it will just help me to remember and to reflect on some of those things that I've learned from the novel through the different phases of planning. There we go. Interesting. Interesting learnings. Well, that's about it for that. Just backing up and saving. Have a good day. I hope you learn something completely new that you had forgotten about today, just like I have. So yeah, have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow morning with Act 4.3. I'll see you then.